Hey everybody, we had a snafu yesterday and my whole morning's been a snafu, but that's okay. We're going to do a video and then I'll post it and that should be okay. So this is all about blocking, and I apologize that we had to do it on my phone. Still, I can't figure out how to do it, but that'll be okay. Let me talk about the tools for blocking. The first tool that you're going to need is the first step. So we're going to soak it. And in the larger, heavier fabrics or something that you want it to grow, we're going to soak it, and you could soak it in your sink. You can do it in a plastic tub. At the shop, we do it in this because we want to make sure our customers' products don't catch on anything in the sink. You want to use, let's see, I always pour about a teaspoon. You only need a teaspoon of eucalyptus per gallon of water. And this is a great product, and like I said, it's called eucalyptus. It comes in lots of different scents. My favorite is jasmine, but for the things that we do in the shop, I always use unscented. You don't have to rinse it out. So once it's soaked and you squeeze your water out, there's no need to rinse. Okay? The next thing we need are mats. Now, it's easy to use things like this. We have these for sale, not this type. I carry knit picks, the blocks, and you can either get them in a box or you can buy them singularly for $3. I'll be honest, I got mine from Amazon because I wanted them to have this texture to keep your fabric off. I don't think it really matters. You can use a yoga mat. Now, if you use a yoga mat, they're very thin. And so if you're pulling out your work, it's going to pull your yoga mat up. So if you're just doing things and you're laying them flat, a yoga mat's just fine. We also, I have to use a ruler. It's very important. So if you're blocking pieces for a garment and you want them to be the exact same measure, so when you match the seams up, you have to use a ruler. It's important. Yesterday when my video didn't work, but we were doing Barbara's scarf, Barbara just wanted it bigger. So when we laid out the scarf, the hypotenuse of that triangle is very long, and it was a lot longer than my board. So the exact measure was not important, but a straight line was important. So to create the straight line, we use that. We also use blocking combs, okay? Let's see, I'm gonna hold it up here. Do you see that? It's a blocking comb. Ah, there, that's a good video of it. So there's 8 points to this one, and there's 4 on this one. They come in a box like this, and these are $28 for 12 with 8 pins and 8 with 4 pins. I also use T-pins. All right, and let's see. Can you see it against my shirt? See, that's a T-pin. These don't rust, and I use them for lots of things. So what we're going to do, we're going to work backwards like we did yesterday, but instead of working from a rectangle to a triangle, we're going to work from a triangle to a rectangle. And so I want you to see Barbara's scarf. It's all finished. We're going to pull everything out, and that way when she comes this afternoon to pick it up, it will be totally finished, okay? So Dee's going to help me pull this down. Oh, look, there it is. Isn't that fabulous? Okay, so my board is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 feet long. And the hypotenuse, we just couldn't get her entire scarf on there. So the first thing we did, we put a pin here, and we put a pin right here. Okay, oh, I don't need that much of me. So we put a pin here. So when we laid this ruler, and this is a very long ruler, it's a 6-foot ruler, 5-foot ruler. when we lay that against there, it's just like a math problem. What's this? How do you get a straight line? You have to have 2 points. So this blocking comb was our first point, and this one was our second point. So when I laid that up there, it was easy for me to take more combs and just pull it up to the ruler. So right now I'm going to pull these out. Thank you, Dee. Okay, and but before, no, not yet. Thank you, though. Before I pull these out, I forgot, but this way you can see it. Her scarf, this is a Tunisian crochet scarf, just so you know the craft that was used. She has points that needed to be pulled out. So in order for her to have the points when we pull it out, and this is the wrong side, mind you. Do you see the lace? Look at the lace work. None of that was visible yesterday until we blocked this. So what we did, I ran blocking wires. That's the other tool I neglected to tell you. This is a blocking wire. I ran it through all the points of her scarf. You'll notice, look, I took this out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points, 14 actually, and they're still there. It's dry, it's perfect, and it's fantastic. So I'm going to pull the other ones out, and the way that I held that, all I did was I put some T-pins that held those wires back. Dee, would you pull that one for me too? And she has, I'm going to turn this so you can see what Dee's working on. See, she had points on the other end too. Okay? So that, remove that. The last thing we have to do, not the last, but the last thing in order to get this off the board, Dee's going to pull the pins out for those points. I didn't use wires for those because I had no need to. There were just a few. Thank you, Dee. And so what's going to happen when we pull this, and I'm going to show you the right side. Oop. Okay, here's the right side. I think, yeah. What's going to happen where we had it folded, don't be concerned, because even though this has a really odd look to it, I didn't pull it really tight on that fold. I have a steamer. This is a Conair steamer. It came from Tuesday Morning. But I also have a steamer from Kohl's that I use my 30% off coupon. It was a Rowenta steamer. And you can use a steamer from your iron. But I caution you, if you use a steamer from your iron, do not touch your iron to it. Okay, don't get too close. So here I'm going to let the steam kind of come through. All right. Do you see how easy I did that? Look, there's no fold mark anymore. My line is still straight, and there's not a fold mark here. Her scarf is ready to be worn. It's perfect. I'm so pleased for her. She's going to be thrilled. Her quest for me was to make it larger because she wanted it to hang over to her elbows. And I don't know if we got it that big, but I know that this is much larger than what she had intended. I mean, than what she brought it in as. So gorgeous work. Okay, so now, oh, we're gonna lift this up a little bit more again. And I'm going to talk about a blanket, okay? This, okay. Oh, go ahead and take the steamer. Thank you, Dee. All right, this blanket was knit by a very sweet, very talented, amazing woman, Donna. Look at this. This is mosaic crochet. Fantastic. Look at the back. Okay, so I'm bragging on her, but I'm also going to block this for her. So it's not so big. It's, let's see, is it going to fit on the table? Okay, it's a little big, so I'm going to fold it in half. What I did, I soaked it in water. I squeezed out as much as I could in the sink. And I will tell you that when I squeeze something out this large, I use 2 sinks. So I squeeze on one end and I put the dry side on the other. So all the water goes into one sink. Then I wrapped it in multiple towels and squeezed it, and I did put a lot of pressure on this because this is worsted weight, regular yarn. This is not superwash. So I wanted to make sure that I got everything out. Okay, so what I did, I folded this in half. And I know that this is supposed to be a blanket for someone. And she's going to want it, you know, it's an Afghan. You want it to be as big as you can get it. So, let's see. All right, we're going to turn this down so you can see how I'm working. You don't need to see all my junk. All right, there we go. I'm going to center it on my board so I have as much room as possible. And Dee, can I can just use the green bucket. It doesn't matter to me.
We're going to get...
Now this has fringe, and in mosaic crochet, when you're knitting flat, you do have to cut the yarn, and so it affords you this wonderful fringe, okay? If we didn't have to block it, we could also use a steamer to straighten that out. Okay, so I'm putting 2 pins in. Remember, two points make a straight line, and I'm going to measure. So I got 25 inches out of it, and because I have it folded in half, 25 double, that's 50 inches. So I think she'll be really pleased with that. So I'm going to take the pin, and notice I'm working right in the center. I have both levels, and I'm going to pull it to the edge of the work. All right. Then we're going to do the same thing here, and we're going to do the same thing here. Now there's a lot of fringe, so I've got to make sure that I take that into consideration. Okay, so I have my first straight line. The next straight line, I'm going to pull this down, but I can't pull it too far, because when you pull too far that way, then the sides come in like this, and then we're going to lose our width, okay? So we don't want to lose too much width, and we may have to go back and forth on this, but that's okay. So I apologize for my shoulders. Thank you, Dee. And we're going to use the larger ruler, and I think that 43 inches should be nice, don't you? Okay, there we go. Now, I'm not going to do the entire thing with pins. I'm only going to put in about 3 because I may have to move them. And moving them is just fine too. All right, so I'm going to make sure this is even across. And Donna, thank you so much for providing us with this amazing project. Okay. Judging by how this is acting, I may have to repin, but that's okay. That's okay. Nothing is permanent until I walk away. And if we don't like how we did it in the first place, then we can get it wet and do it again. Okay, this is gonna be fine, I think, for right now. The goal is to get to 25 inches. So here's my 25 inches. And you'll notice, look, it's too hard. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take this back and we're gonna try 41 inches. And see if we can pull that up. Oop, I needed that in the middle there, didn't I? Okay. All right. Okay, that should get us going. And 25 inches may be too long, too wide, but we'll see. There we go. There it is. There's 25. All right. And we need to get all this fringe going in the right direction. Thank y'all for your patience through all of this. And I'm gonna lean this up here like that. And I'm only gonna put the one in the center for this, okay? And then we're gonna move this over to this side. And look at that. That's a lot of space to take up. Let's hope we can get it done. It'll be okay. All right, see, we can't do it. That's not gonna work. So we're gonna let this go a little bit. Dee, would you let that one go a little bit? We're gonna take this measure. This is at 22. Okay, so yeah, thank you. Dee's got a ruler on that side too, so she's golden. All right. Is that's at 20?
22.
Okay. Go ahead. All right. There we go. All right, here. Now I think, as my husband would say, cooking with gas. All right, let's see. Don't worry about these. Well, you can't see them, but don't worry about this part. I can take care of that. If I don't have enough pins, I can use the wires that I used in Barbara's shawl. I can also use pins. You'd be surprised when we work with pins, if I put them in at an angle, I can get a better handle on the fabric. All right. Oop. Got a loosey-goosey right here. Okay, and anytime I think, see how this is open up a little bit? I don't want to use a whole comb on that, so I'll just use a pin. I put it in an angle because that way it gives it a little bit more leverage to hold it down, okay? And then we need to finish that side. So if you'll excuse me, all right, I'm going to use pens to pull these angles back. Oh, this turned out great. All right, let's see. Look at that. Thank you. Okay, so the other day when I was doing Martha's granite shawls, when I reblocked it, she had lace that had definite lines in it. And if I had left it just the way I threw it, just the way I put it on the board, her lace would have traveled like this. The way that the fibers can run for you is really kind of a neat thing. You can take your hands and pull the fibers together or pull them apart, and that will create your straight lines. Or let's say you need a little bit more yarn on one side or something like that. This has turned out great. Donna, I hope that you're watching because this is yours, hon. This just turned out amazing. I so appreciate it. Bye, everybody. Thanks.